Hey guys, hello. Another one. um, there were some things that still disturb me looking at flat Earth maps, etc. And and then I saw something that didn't really match with my own experience. And I thought, well, if that is true, then there should be more suns in the sky. Because when I was there and he was there, we were both looking at the sun, but I was looking north and he was looking southwest. How in the hell is that possible? And, well, I thought, okay, let me draw it out again. And I hope this time I get some sensible comments, and instead of trolls that have nothing else to do than accuse me of having a metal lid on my head, or just say the earth is flat and then they leave again. I invite everybody, of course, to try with reason and with some, hopefully a little bit scientific arguments to disprove what I'm going to say. As always, I'm going to use no NASA material, preferably not. I will use no math, no science, no dirty tricks. And the only thing that would be nice if all our flat earth friends would make up their mind on what they think that the truth is they claim they hold. Because they have simply too many different maps. Bottom at the top left you see the one I used before, and I believe is also used by Eric Dubai, etc. Then you have this map, which I like a little bit because the size of Australia is better, because this is clearly wrong here. This one is a bit older. This one is actually a quite clever one, but you can hardly call it a flat earth. It actually would take care that what I said in my first debunking video, that would not work in this one. But on the other hand, if you always say water drops off the earth because it has because gravity doesn't exist, you can imagine that all the water here will fill up and basically submerge Australia, etc. So clever, really clever, but you will see that it is not clever enough. And this one you also have seen, and it gives at least some information about how high the sun would be, what its size would be in the orbit. Now, before some of these flat earth people, and they're not all stupid, I have noticed, but some try to be smart and say, hey, you have all kinds of different maps of your globe. Now, these are projections, guys. This is simply a way of presenting the information of a globe on a flat piece of paper. For a globe believer, the only thing that is real is the globe, and only the sizes of continents and countries and distances can only be read from the globe accurately. And this all are approximations that for different purposes suit their purpose very well, but not don't come with this silly arguing about the different maps. This is a different story than this is, because nobody here says this is the truth. Everybody that is a globe believer will say this is a projection. The story here is different. Now, let's take for the first time a globe fact. Actually, we have done it before, but lucky for flat Earth, this matches the model of flat Earth as well, and that's simply the model of time zones. And let's say not we don't need to discuss this. This is generally accepted by almost 7 billion people on the world. So in my first video, you can remember I showed the position of Sam, and that I said, well, here is the first problem, because I wanted to show something according to the flat Earth facts, and that I already saw that the sun was not there where you would expect it to be on the flat earth if you would believe 100% in the flat earth. So at that time I said, let's ignore it for the moment. At this time we will have to use it because we are going to look at real life experiences of people and not just a theory. But at that time I did say, forget it, the sun is always on the circle as it is according to the Flat Earth Society or the International Flat Earth Research Society. And we showed, and at that time I made a mistake, but here it's now correct, that at 7 o'clock in the afternoon in Seattle, if you look in that direction, it's pitch dark, and for Sam, he would still see the sun pretty high up, and that would be impossible because from a perspective point of view and from the air and humidity and pollution of the air, they would have to experience the same, yet that is not the case. Then I also showed that if Sam can actually look this far and we would apply that to somebody in Europe, then it would be always day. And in that way I basically already debunked the whole flat earth. Now I found somebody who did a different approach on this and I actually liked it, so I want to share it with you. And he did this. He reasoned that if the sun goes to its outer trajectory, then it needs to pick up speed or else it cannot conclude the whole circle in 24 hours. If it is going faster and we want to maintain the same amount of daylight, then the circle must be bigger. And as you can see, it becomes in winter time for the people in the northern part of the world, it will become so big that it will lighten up as well. So again, whether the sun is here or it is there, the northern part of the world will be a full daylight. And we know that doesn't happen. So this again shows that the whole map and the circles, the trajectories of the sun cannot be true, but the problem is you only have so much space to put your trajectories, and it simply doesn't match up with the reality. There's no other way. But let's continue. As I said, in order to comply with the facts of the flat earth, to fully 100% comply, I did the first video. And I had to draw the sun in locations people normally don't see it, at least not at that moments in time. But yes, I said I wanted to keep 100% to the facts of the flat earth, and it resulted in the flat earth not being possible. So I wondered what would happen if we would draw the sun now on the place where people actually see it. Now, how can we find out what people actually see? Well, the first thing is you can use tools that exist on the internet. I think they're pretty okay. I've seen actually flat earthers use them. And why are they okay? Because if it would not be okay, people would shout at the makers of that website, like, hey morons, come on, it is this and this time and I see the sun there, and according to your website it is there, so please correct. And that is not happening. So, but this is one way of finding out what people actually see. The other thing is just call your embassy or call a friend or family you have somewhere in the south and ask them. But flat earthers seem to be pretty lazy, and they're actually not even willing to pick up a phone. And fine, if that is your way of thinking, then don't come on communities and start discussing about the truth if you are not even willing to take the slightest let's say energy, or use slightest energy to do something yourself. Yeah. So Sydney, according to SunCalc, and it says that is where the sun goes down, that is where the sun goes up. And if we now put our friend Alice in Sydney, then we see our known circle. 12 o'clock, she will look north and see the sun there. It's as simple as that. And she will see the sun in the west around 6 o'clock in the morning, and she will see in the east, and she will see the sun in the west at 1800 hours, so 6 o'clock in the evening. Another way of finding out what people actually see is simply go there ourselves and to verify whether it's correct, which I then did last year. I visited Johannesburg, and you see me here in the Hilton Hotel. And while my friend was making this picture, some big dude came up to him, and he asked him, "Who is that guy next to Mr. Goudsmits?" Okay, just for the fun, this was just for fun. Let's continue. I'm going to put our friend Norris in Johannesburg. And we have the same diagram, but as you can see, the angles are a bit different because he's more north than our friend in Sydney, and certainly more north than our friend in Chile, in Punta Arenas, because he has even a sharper angle, and that was our friend Sam. And if we compose the locations and the positions of the sun for him, we get this. Now we are going to project them. Hold on. Again, we are going to look through their eyes. As we have always said, we keep the flat earth flat. And again, everything I show you and every direction and the timing, please go out, verify it. It is not that difficult, as I have shown you, except if you have to travel for it. This is all very nice. The nice thing, however, is that we now have a time difference between Alice, Norris and Sam of approximately 7 hours each. For them it's all December 22, the longest day, so there is plenty of daylight. We are going to put, not yet, I said we're going to put the directions in on the flat map, but just as a recap, for the people who have some trouble with compass direction and the hour of the day. But it's very simple. This is what it looks like, and that is why without a compass and only a watch you can always figure out where north, south or whatever is, as long as you know whether you're on the northern part of the globe or the southern part of the globe. And we are going to use this to put it in our drawing. As I said, for everybody in Australia, it is quite simple. At 12 o'clock the sun is in the north is in the direction of our compass, so we also know where south is, because that's simply the opposite direction. We know where east is, and west and southwest and southeast. And we can do the same for our friend Sam. For Sam, north is that direction towards the pole. South is of course away from it. West is in that direction, and east is in that yellow direction. And now we go to the position where I was and where I've put Norris now. North points north, and we are going to take this as our time reference. 2 o'clock in Johannesburg. That places Norris here in Johannesburg at 2 o'clock. That means it is 22 hours in the evening for Alice, and it is between 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning for, do I see that right? Yeah. For our friend Sam. So, now the only thing we need to do is plot the directions which they are looking at all at the same time. And we see that Alice is looking in southwest direction, as Suncalc says, as her the experiences of all the millions living in and around Sydney, and please give somebody there a call, and you will get your answer. Johannesburg you probably will not argue with, because that's simple. It's almost looking north, but it's 2 o'clock, so it's a little bit in this direction. And Sam, well, for Sam the sun has started to rise already at 4:30, and it's now around 6 o'clock, we said, so he is looking in this direction. So I have now 3 completely different directions I need to look at to see the sun at the same time on a flat earth. And the directions they're looking, they match with the real life experience of people. People you can give a call, locations on the earth where you can go, websites that will give that information, and hell, 3 suns to make the flat earth work. And then the suns are outside of the ice wall in 2 cases. This is amazing. This is just amazing. But how can I make this work? Because it is real life experience. So these guys see the sun. How does it work then? Well, let's first try all the other maps we had of the flat earth. Even this one here, which I said was quite cute, because it would partly debunk my first video. It doesn't work. Johannesburg, he's looking a little bit north, of course, and well, beautiful, the sun is there. That is a nice coincidence. But here our friend is looking outside, and it's more, the arrow should come out of your screen, actually, that's the direction Sam is looking. And here for Alice in Sydney, she's actually looking there. Not so high that she has to look over that curve, because we know that isn't there. She would be looking in southwest direction, but very low to the horizon. And also here he would be looking very low to the horizon. And on this map it also shows that we are looking in completely different directions, and he's actually almost like here, looking straight up. And that's because we look at these 2 maps in a sort of perspective way. So whatever model we take from the flat earth, it doesn't matter, it doesn't add up. Well, what remains is a globe. If I tilt the globe a bit, and it's probably not accurate, it should be something like 23 degrees, maybe I have 25 or I have 21, I don't know. I just wanted to make it in a way that I could show the locations a bit, but it's almost impossible to show Alice. But you can see that Norris is looking still a bit north, because if you draw this line far enough to where we believe the sun is, then in the end it will be an angle like that with the sun, and actually it appears to be looking north. He is looking away from this line. This line is due east, so he's looking in the southeastern direction. And Alice we cannot see, so that's why I tried to also find another way of looking at it. Maybe that would make it a bit more clear. And I tried to look really from behind, so that it's easier to see that they still can look in the same direction past the curve of the Earth, as long as the sun is far enough away, which we as globe believers of course think is the case. So the only thing that works is a globe. In all other cases, doesn't matter which type of map you take from a flat Earth, you need 3 suns hanging somewhere, some outside the glass sky or the dome even, to make the map match with what people in reality see. And we know there is only one sun. I don't think we have to discuss that. So I want to thank everybody again. Hopefully some sensible comments this time, because I like to argue as long as it is a bit semi-scientific, let's say, and stay on topic. Stay on topic, please. Thank you all very much.